All right, so if I were starting all over again with absolutely nothing but my experiences, this is exactly how I would launch a business with $0 and claw my way to $10,000 a month as fast as humanly possible. I am going to lay out every single thing I personally did, the painful lessons I learned, and what I now recommend in this wild ever changing landscape of online businesses. This is kind of assuming you have some decent communication skills, or at least you are comfortable putting yourself out there. Making those cold calls, sending those cold emails. I will dive into that in a minute. I will talk about the actual business ideas and the process itself, weaving in my own story, the one filled with all the stumbles and scrapes. Right off the bat, business ideas. If you are struggling to think of business ideas, trust me, that is the least of your worries. Ideas are cheap. They are everywhere. There are countless podcasts, videos, and articles covering so many different business concepts. Now, I often wish I had more time to start half of them. So seriously, feel free to borrow a few of these. Take, for instance, a social media marketing agency. For local businesses, SMMA, as it is often called, yes, it has definitely become saturated. It has gotten a bit of a bad reputation these last few years, but it still works. I promise you, if you truly know what you are doing and if you niche down a bit. Another big one, something I have seen flourish, is social and community management for coaches and creators. They are constantly looking for help. Then there is paid ads management for local service providers. Basically, you manage their advertising budget, you run their ads to bring them new customers, and you help them achieve a direct return on investment, a higher return on ad spend. They will absolutely pay you handsomely if you can deliver. If you can learn how to run ads effectively, that skill is pure gold. And here's one that is really picking up steam. TikTok and general short-form content creation for small to medium-sized businesses. This blends into my personal favorite. Honestly, if I was not doing what I am doing now, it would be a content agency. Just helping local businesses get online, get their names out there, build their personal brands. Everyone wants to take advantage of the internet and content in some way. It is a massive opportunity. And that is kind of the offer we are going to talk about here in a moment. Another powerful path is selling your knowledge. If you have a specialized skill in a niche area, I am telling you, someone out there is willing to pay you for it. Coaching, I know coaching sometimes gets a bad rap, and yes, there are scammers out there. I have seen them. But there are also some incredibly valuable programs and mentorships that I have personally invested in, paying a significant amount of money for. My mindset was always, if I am at step 1 and someone else is at step 10, and I can essentially pay them to leap from step 1 to step 9, I am going to do it. It is a shortcut to hard-earned wisdom. So again, these are just to get your brain churning, to start thinking about all the possibilities out there, because there truly are so many. Now that we have covered that, just to summarize, these are all incredibly high-value skills that any reasonable business owner will pay for and recognize the value in. But, and this is a crucial point, you have to pitch it correctly. That is what we are going to dive into next. I want to start with step 1, and this is more about mindset, but it is something you absolutely need to grasp before anything else. You do not need to worry about a fancy website right now. You do not need to worry about incorporating, setting up business bank accounts, designing elaborate logos, or printing custom t-shirts. I have talked about this before, but I had anywhere from $7,000 to $8,000 coming in monthly before I even bothered with any of that stuff. And yes, in the very beginning, you might pay a little bit more in taxes working as a sole proprietor or as a single person compared to a corporation, but do not let that stop you. Do not worry about doing that right now. I would much rather pay a little extra in taxes because I am actually making money, rather than just sitting around twiddling my thumbs, hoping things magically improve while I am not acquiring any customers. You need customers. These people are your lifeline, your oxygen. We will get into that in a couple of steps, but you truly do not need to worry about anything fancy up front. I made that mistake so early on, and honestly, it was one of the dumbest things I ever did. I obsessed over logos, Vistaprint orders, and those custom t-shirts. It was just foolish. You do not need to worry about any of that. If anything, just create a free landing page. I use a service called CardCARRD. I started with their free plan, and then I eventually paid for their $9 a year plan. It is incredibly cheap. You can build a very simple, effective landing page there. All that other stuff I mentioned earlier. The branding, the corporate structure, it is all irrelevant until you get customers. People care far more about what you can actually do for them, the tangible results you can deliver, rather than what your external presentation looks like at least. That is true in the beginning. Branding becomes more important as you grow and scale. But for now, they simply do not care. They care about your offer, which brings us to step 2. Quickly design your pricing and craft your offer. Do not overthink this too much. Seriously, keep it simple if it is a lead generation business. Your offer could be something like, hey, I will get you 50 qualified leads in 45 days, and if I do not, I will work for free until I do. If it is a content agency, it could be, I will create 20 pieces of high-quality short-form content, guaranteed within 30 days, or I will refund a percentage of your money. The way I look at these guarantees is that you want to reverse the risk. There is always a risk for a business taking on someone new, someone who maybe does not have a decade of experience, and that is completely fine. Businesses will work with beginners, but you have to de-risk them and yourself as much as possible. I am not going to get into the really intricate contract stuff here, but I promise you this is absolutely possible. And pricing? The way I always approach pricing is that it is based on the return the client can realistically expect. I like to use the 10 to 20% rule. This means if I can potentially bring someone $10,000 to $20,000 worth of new business and deals, then you could probably charge 10 to 20% of that. So anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month for your services as you gain more experience and build a track record. You will naturally be able to increase your pricing and charge more. But in the beginning, seriously, you just need to focus on replacing your 9 to 5 salary or simply getting to $5,000 to $10,000 a month as quickly as you possibly can. And you need to do this without sacrificing the customer experience, which we will talk about shortly. But it honestly just boils down to simple math. It is really straightforward. 4 clients at $2,500 a month. That is your 10K. 5 clients at $2,000 a month. 6 or 7 clients at $1,500 a month. The math is super simple. Do your own calculations based on what you are comfortable with and what value you truly believe you can deliver. And again, none of these things require any upfront money. Yes, you might need a phone, a laptop, and an internet connection, but chances are if you are watching this video right now, you probably already have all of that. So you are already ahead of the game. Step 3 for me, this was always the most exciting part and simultaneously the most nerve-wracking client outreach, your number one goal, your biggest time investment. Should be entirely focused on acquiring your very first customers, period. Nothing else matters as much in the beginning, and you are going to achieve this through cold email and cold calling. You can do these manually by hand, just like I did. I literally scraped Google Maps, visited their websites one by one, found the owner's email address, and then reached out accordingly. And then I followed up with cold calls, or you can set up a basic CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Management Software, like HubSpot or Close.com for cold email software. I really like Instantly AI. And to actually get the leads, if you want to automate that a bit, Apollo.io is a great tool. All of these have free plans, or at least very generous free trials that do not require a credit card, so go take advantage of them. Just be careful, you need to keep your outreach natural. You do not want to sound like a robot. Have a good script as a foundation, but then focus on genuinely having a conversation with them, asking questions, and seeing if they are even a good fit for your services or if they even require what you are offering. That is a very, very important piece of the puzzle. The reason I prefer to start with cold email and then follow up with cold calls to those who do not reply is because it gives you an in. Think about it, which sounds better to you. Hey, Mr. Customer, this is actually a cold call. Are you willing to give me 30 seconds of your time? That is not bad, but what is much, much better is, hey, Mr. Customer, I actually sent you an email about 7 days ago. Did you happen to have a chance to take a look at that? Oh, sorry, no, I did not. Do you have the right email? Yes, I sent it to this address. And the subject line I used was, quick question. Oh yeah, sorry, no, I completely missed that. What was the email about? Boom, you have an in, you have leverage. You want to give yourself as much leverage on cold calls as humanly possible. I was a big user of that specific wording. It worked extremely well for me. I had a specific site and template that I used when reaching out to these customers. It said, hey, I saw your blank site. I was just wondering if you had blank for your services. I was selling appointment setting services. So it worked exceptionally well for my niche. Now a quick side note, and I want to bake this right into the middle of everything. Record everything. Seriously, I personally really regret not documenting enough, not filming more of my journey, because it is not only good practice to look back on to analyze your speaking and to identify mistakes you might be making. But more importantly, building an audience around this is incredibly relatable. People will connect way more with documentation and journey content than they will with someone who is already worth 10 or $100 million. That person can still offer good advice, but you just cannot relate to them on the same level as you can with someone who is on the come up, who is actively on that journey. People absolutely love seeing that. And what a ton of people are really going through is exactly this kind of struggle and growth. So they are almost attracted to you like a magnet record through your laptop, record through your phone, something I do not care if you have to buy a cheap camera off a marketplace. It does not matter. Just find a way to record your day when you are building a business. Trust me on this, people will truly connect with it. And before I move on to step 4, I do have a question for you. Have you ever tried starting a business before? And if so, what kind was it? I have had a ton of business failures, and I honestly think it is not talked about enough. I did a video about this a while back, but the core message was each one of those failures gave me more ammunition, more valuable lessons for the business that actually became successful. When my chips finally landed, when my chips finally came off the table and I was able to say, oh my God, finally, after like 8 different business failures, I only talked about 5 in that particular video. But finally, after bashing my head against the wall for years, trying to see what works, I finally found something that clicked. So I'm really curious to hear if you have either wanted to start a business but just did not, and what that idea was or what you actually tried. I get comments all the time, and it is genuinely cool to hear about your stories. So I just wanted to ask that step 4, focus on giving your first few customers the absolute best client experience ever. I do not care what you have to do to make that happen. Quick wins, for example, are an easy way to build trust. For me, it does not even have to be directly about your core offer. But when I ran my lead generation business, which I still do, but especially in the beginning, I would set expectations right away. I would tell them, hey, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is going to take some time, quite a bit of time sometimes, to really get those leads flowing, maybe a week or two, but I will keep you posted on how things are developing every step of the way. So quick wins could be when their campaigns went live, how many leads were opting in, what kind of impressions we were getting. It does not even have to be the exact thing they are paying you for. They basically just want communication. That is all it is. It is hyper-personalized communication on steroids. Clients absolutely love this. They will stay with you much, much longer and trust you significantly more. And in the beginning, that is exactly what you need. You reached out to them cold, so you have to provide them with an exceptional service, I would say. For your first 3 to 5 clients, minimum, you absolutely have to do this. So keep them on a good leash, add them into Slack or WhatsApp. Whatever works. Slack, I think, even has a free plan if you wanted to use that. I personally use Slack. It is my go-to communication tool, and it is really, really good. And then this is where you can start to focus on scaling, but only once you have secured your first few clients. Once you are consistently cold calling and prospecting, you as a business owner should be spending 80% of your time getting more clients through the door, and you should keep doing that until you are at a minimum of $100,000 a month. I do not care what anyone else tells you once you have some good clients rolling. This is where you finally gain leverage. You can approach them and say, hey, Mr. Customer, we have been working together for the last 60 to 90 days, a couple of months now. I would love it if you were open to sharing a video review with me. We could record it on Zoom or Google Meet, and I could use it for my future marketing. As long as you are doing a half-decent job for these people, they will almost always agree. Nobody is generally opposed to that. And if you want to offer them a discount, say, hey, if you do this for me, I will give you a 10 to 20% discount or whatever I need to do just to hear your feedback. Obviously, make sure it is good feedback. Do not be tone deaf. Make sure you are actually doing a good job for them before you ask for something like this, but most clients will be super chill about it, and you want to get numbers from them. Ask them, hey, where were you before working with me? Where are you now after working with me? Where are you today? They are going to give you quantifiable numbers because prospective customers, new potential clients, absolutely love seeing what you have already achieved for others. This is where things start to snowball. This is where things really start to work in your favor because one solid review, one powerful case study can completely transform your entire business. One case study, one review can take you from nothing to multiple 7 figures. That is exactly what it did for me. Now we are just compounding. We have like 25, 30 different case studies at any given time. You need to market those properly. If you do not, you are going to screw yourself over. Cold email can only take you so far if you do not have proper reviews and social proof. This goes back to the pricing stuff, and this is almost like a bonus tip. If you are just struggling to get customers, I am recording this in early 2025. The market is finally looking more optimistic and better overall, but there was a dry period in 2024 where it was truly challenging to onboard new customers, especially for new agency owners. Do work for free. I cannot tell you how many buddies of mine who started with free work are now making over 6 figures a month because they literally just needed case studies. They understood that these case studies, in the long term, are worth more to me than any short-term amount of money. They are worth more than $10,000 to me right now. This case study is going to make me hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future, so I would rather do the free work, which is what 9 out of 10 people are not willing to do up front. That is going to show a lot to the business owner. Make sure that it is the right person though, because some business owners are very cheap. They are very rude and they are prickly to work with. You want to stay far, far away from those no matter what. I do not care if they are offering to pay you $10,000 a month. Leave those clients behind. There is no need to work with those types, especially on a free basis. So find someone that is genuinely good, someone you really connect well with, and especially if they are a little hesitant about paying up front, you can say something like, hey, I will do it on a straight commission basis. And you give me your word that if this thing goes well, you agree to a case study. We will film it on this day, this time, at this location. And as long as you get that sign off, then you are good to go. Again, I know I am oversimplifying this a bit, but I really truly think that if you execute this properly, you can print money, you can crush it. These are really good businesses to be a part of, and I am genuinely interested to hear your feedback. So any questions, please let me know. As always, if you have made it this far, I honestly want to see you win, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.